hello everyone. We are here at CPR Fitness with owner Greg Bennett. He has a lot of businesses, but he also is mayor of Swainsboro. And he's joining us here on Fixin and Friends to tell us a little bit about what he's got going on and a little bit about his background. So we're excited you're here, and thanks, Greg, for joining us today.
Thank you.
What is a typical day like for you? I mean, you have your mayor duties that take up some time, and then you're bouncing
My
around.
typical day, I'm not an early riser. I've never been an early riser. But I usually get up around 7:30, so that's not very early.
That works.
And then I usually read emails, and read news, and read bank accounts, see whatever I need to do the day before.
Sure.
So I usually do that for around 30 minutes. And I finally get started around 8 o'clock. And I'll go to Mojo's first. That's my first stop every single morning. And then I'll go to the subdivision. And then right now, I'm building a new retail spot.
Okay, and that's near the railroad track, right?
It's going to be 2 retail spots. They're already spoken for.
Okay.
And then above them is going to be 2 New York style apartments.
Oh, wow.
It's studio apartments with brick walls and an open kitchen. And I don't know if I'm going to rent them out yet because I don't know if the retail store does good. I hope they can use that for maybe storage or whatever.
Sure.
But the New York style apartments, I kind of want to do it like, say for instance, the hospital. The hospital has people like anesthesiologists. They have people come in 2 weeks and leave for 2 weeks, and somebody come in 2 weeks. I'm hoping to do it for somewhere like that need it occasionally, just to help them get a better anesthesiologist. Because they got this apartment they can use, and it's a great little apartment. Right. And that can help the town too, because I'm not doing it again to make money. I'm doing it to try to.
And the retail stores, can you say that they are yet, or not yet? Okay.
That's my own surprise.
That's right.
And so anyway, and I usually go there next, and I'm also doing a restaurant right now.
Okay.
It's going to be a steak, seafood, and sushi, and I'm doing that with Brad Hooks.
Okay.
And he's in control of the back, I won't be in control of the front, trying to make the budget, because restaurants are a risky business. You know what I know. And about 75 to 70% fail. I think most of the time they fail is because you'll have somebody, like say, for instance, Brad. He caters. He knows a lot about cooking. But just because you know how to cook doesn't mean you know how to run a business. And if you don't know how to price your product, you're going to fail. And I think that's why most of them fail. I'm hoping that's why most of them fail, because I like to be numbers. If you buy hamburger meat for $5 a pound, and you give a quarter of a pound, you give them fries, and you got this much and everything else. If you price your burger $2 the wrong side, well, if the price is too high, nobody's gonna come. If you price it too low, you're gonna go out of business. And so there's a sweet spot where it has to be in order you to stay in business and the customer be satisfied.
Right.
That's gonna be my job, to try to price everything. Let's come along.
Well, I have faith that y'all will do great. So,
Yeah,
I mean, and then in terms of how do you research? So if you're going to do a new business venture, do you talk to other people that are in that same industry, or do you just kind of say, hey, I'm going to just go in with what I think is the best thing to do?
I research. Here's what I do. I'll come up with, this seems stupid, I'll come up with 5 ideas a week.
Yeah.
And I'll think about it for 6 months, and after 6 months, I only got one.
Okay.
Because that will work because this one will work because, like for instance, the truck stop. We have been working on a truck stop for 17, 16 months, and we still hadn't started building.
Yep.
Because that's how long it takes to actually get permits, and you change your ideas about this or change your ideas about that, and then after you get all that, now you gotta get a process on everything, but you don't want to overspend again. And like researching the truck stop has taken a long time. We have technically 3 partners with 2. Jeremy Furkhoff is in on it, and then Ricky and Cherie Hooks, they're a team.
Right.
They're a partner, and I'm a partner. Well, everybody's got their job. Like Jeremy's job is to know about trucks and diesels, and that's his department.
Right.
And Ricky and Cherie is going to run the store.
Right. And the convenience side of it, they have
experience. We're going to have a restaurant, a full service restaurant inside. We're going to have breakfast and lunch. But it's not going to be maybe the type of things you have at all the fixings. It's going to be the mom and pop, sit down.
Meet and greet.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, researching it, I had to figure out, like say, what does the average convenience store do in gas a day? And then what does our traffic count going to be? What will it increase to? And will that actually benefit the store? Like if we increase the traffic, say 400 cars a day, how many of those cars will we get if we get 33% of them? The average person is going to spend $23. I researched that. A convenience store person walks inside the door, spends $11.43. The average gas price to purchase is around $22. And so you have to figure, if I get 200 people a day to stop, that's going to bring up this much. The average market in a restaurant is around 40%, 60%, if you count all your factors. So I had to figure all that. So then I had to figure out, put all those facets together. How much diesel are you going to sell a day? This is our payment. This is how much the labor's going to be. Is it worth it? And usually, by the end of 6 months, I'll figure out, okay, those 4 businesses will not work. This will not work. I will do them. And then I'm Swainsboro, I just can't make a work pay. So then you pick your best idea and you run with it. It's like the truck stop is working. I think it's a good idea. I think it is. I hope it is.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
That's my fun thing. I love doing that part. And I love the doing part. I just don't like it when it's finished.
You're like, all right, on to something more interesting.
I just get bored. And everybody has their own little thing.
That's right. We all have our
some people like the structure, and doing the same thing every day. I would lose my mind if I did the same thing.
Well, that's what I say about the pecans. We have the retail store, we have the online business, and we have gift boxes, and we have the manufacturing side where we do all of the cooking of the pecans. And there are a lot of people that they're like, you just need to pick a lane and like do one thing and do it really good. And I was like, if I do, I think I might go crazy because like I can't sit there and like just do pecans and bag pecans and manufacture pecans all day long. I like the diversity, so I see where you're coming from.
The thing is too, like most people look at a job as an income, and naturally we all have to have an income. But if you take your average person and say when we get 18 years old, we spend a third of our life sleeping, a third working, and a third off of work. So why would I want to waste a third of my life that's working or something I really don't like? I don't care about the other third that I'm off if I'm miserable the other day, So money matters, but I heard somebody say something the other day that really stuck into my mind. He said, it was an older guy, and he had 2 younger people that worked for him. He says, I'm going to do y'all a favor. And they said, what? I'm going to give you $1 million, each year all $1 million. They were just, are you really? And he said, yeah, I'm going to give y'all $1 million. I said, you know what? I'm going to give you $10 million. And they both said they were just happy and excited. He said, the only thing I'll ask in return is you can't wake up. So is your life worth more than $10 million? And it is. And so remember what you're doing every day to do what you love.
That's right. And then be able to do things that give back and to benefit others. Because I think if you're just doing it, like you said earlier, like, I'm not in it for the money, like, because that will end, and that's not going to drive you long term,
The only thing money was, there's a certain point everybody needs, But the extra stuff, if you're miserable that other 8 hours, it's not worth what you're doing just for that frivolous.
And sometimes it does take, those years of maybe doing something you don't love as much to get you to the point where you can try to figure it out.
I don't want to you're not going to start out doing something you love. We all have to learn, when I tell all my
farming for you had to kind of go through that.
And then like Mojo's, when I first opened it was my first big thing besides the nursing home. I worked for 5 years. I took a shift, just like every 10-hour shift, just like everybody else. And for 5 years I had to put a PDM. And so, and I know, you can't open a business up and start taking money. That's not the way it works. That's not reality. And so when you make that commitment to starting a business, you have to have either a nest egg or cut down on everything you do in order to feed your baby. And
how long would you say, based on your experience, for people that might be looking to do their own business or a small business, what's the I know it's not an exact time frame, but hey, you got to stick with it for at least this long, before you really start,
Let's take, every industry is going to be a little different. Right? Say like the car wash is completely different than the laundromat, right? But let's just say if you started a restaurant. Honestly, I don't think you need to take a penny out for at least a year, no matter what, because that's your critical time. That's when you're trying to see, you're going to make so many wrong mistakes, it's pitiful, you're going to make wrong mistakes day after day. And so if if it's already fractured and you're taking blocks out, you're not going to build it.
Right.
So I would say have enough back. Now, I ain't saying you can't take anything. Let's just say though you start a restaurant. If you work a 10-hour shift just like everybody else, you pay yourself because you have to eat. But if what I'm saying is you can't have like a restaurant and say you need 5 people, so you hire 5 people. No, you hire 4 because you take your shift.
Yeah.
And you get paid just like they do, but you don't hire the people and they work and you just sit there and watch them.
Sure.
You work just as hard as they do, you get paid the same rate they do, and then maybe after a year you can say, okay, it's doing great, I can start taking a little extra. Or maybe hire another part-time person now, and so I could just work
part-time
or full-time.
Right.
Because you know what I know, you're not going to work full-time. You're going to work full-time plus full-time.
Yes.
Well, everybody works full-time.
Right.
Somebody just did it, the first year is a critical year. You have to build the blocks, you can't take them out.
Sure. Yeah, that's really good advice. Any other advice, for like business owners or people looking to get the
I think there's only certain kind of people that's going to take a risk. You're not going to talk to somebody. Half the population, you could give them the money and they're not going to take a risk. And so for that segment of the population that likes a risk, that likes a reward, because you're not going to make a reward without the risk. And this is bad because I don't want every employee to think I make money off of them, but if you're working for somebody else, you are making money for them. But some people don't want to take a risk, and everybody don't know what risk to take either, because you might take the wrong risk and that won't work anyway. You have to be sure what you're going to do and know what you know. If you don't know something, ask them before you go into a field that you may know.
Do your research.
Yeah, and there's more to opening the business than doing that business. You got to know numbers. You got to know. It's a business plan. Like we got a company, and it's a multi-million-dollar company. What's coming? I don't know if they knew how to do a business plan. A business plan is what do I need to start? That's the first thing. What do I need to start to turn the key? The next thing is what am I going to need the first 45 days? Because most businesses, you're not going to make hardly any income in 45 days. Like you may make some money coming in, coming out, but you're going to replace everything you just bought. So first 45 days is critical because you can't open up a business broke. You got to have money. And then you need about a year business plan. Okay, at the end of the year, this is what everything should cost me. This is what I should bring in, and you put something down here's left. And without those 3 things, without knowing everything, like every possibility, you don't need to start the business until you know those 3 things.
Right.
And make sure it's going to work.
Right. That's good advice, because I think so many people see like the results or see the good things about it, but they don't want to have to do the work to put the work in to do the research. Talking to Swainsboro, talking to the people listening, from your standpoint, like, is there something that you want to get the message out to them about that you're like, hey, I need y'all to support this, or I need y'all to, what do you feel like, some of the things that you feel like our community really needs to step up and do just to kind of continue to help our
there's a few things wrong. One thing wrong with Swainsboro is Swainsboro is old money mostly. You got a few individuals, they're great people, but they love their land. They don't really want to get rid of their land. And in order for Swainsboro to really do things, they may have to, start, because if you're, let's say if I was 80 years old and I own 5,000 acres, I don't have to sell 10. If it's going to 10 on this corner block that's going to help grow Swainsboro, I don't have to sell it because I don't want to break up my 3,000 acres. But you need to. And in order for Swainsboro to grow, you're going to need to. I don't think a lot of people have patience. Like everybody says, we need a factory. I read it on Facebook. We need a factory with 400 jobs. That's what we need Swainsboro needs. Well, no, we don't. We're not ready for 400 jobs. One thing is we already have 400 jobs open. I bet you a lot of people don't know that. Like if you call Nordstrom, Unifor, Wincor, all those people, they have jobs. And everybody complains, well, I went there, they didn't hire me, they didn't call me back. Well, just because they had an opening doesn't mean it fits you.
Sure.
If it was me, if I had no job tomorrow, and I said, I don't have any experience, no job, I go to Wincor and I go apply. And they say, sorry, you don't meet these criteria. I'm not going to say no. I'm gonna say, okay, what's the criteria you're looking for?
Right.
And they'll say, well, you need a skill that you take it to tech school and take 6 weeks. I say, I'll see you in 6 weeks in a day. That's what I would say. And a lot of people just give up and say, okay, I didn't qualify, so I'm going to enter for see if I qualify for that. But I think if you do not have a job, your job is to find a job. You're supposed to get up every day, go to work for 8 hours, and find that job, and take the first job you're offered.
Sure.
If it's not the job you want, that's fine. Take the job, and then your day off, your job is to go find a job. You know, and finally, you're going to find out your niche or where you want to be, and work at that job for a while.
Give it a chance.
And I would bug the owner almost weekly. Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? I love this company. What do I need to do to make it better for you and for me? You know, like, if an employee makes themselves so valuable to that company, they can't afford to lose it. And you have a lot more negotiating power to get a rate which you should be getting. And I'm a little different. I give people a raise once or twice a year for a reason. If you're short for work and just show up, I'll give you a raise because I know it takes you more money every year just to where you were. And so I don't lose a lot of employees. I ain't saying I overpay anything because they work for what they get, but a lot of people have trouble hanging on to employees. But if you're good to them and you pay them a fair, honest wage and you show you appreciation and you give them a raise every once in a while, then they'll be more apt to stay.
Okay. But yeah, and I was talking to Ken Warnick, and maybe he'll get on here soon, but to talk about they're doing like a job board. Well, it's like a website, you know, where people can go. Because I was like, is there like a place where people in the county can go and see all the jobs that are available? And he said they're actually working on that. So hopefully we'll learn more about that soon, because that would be easy for people to go and see all the places, you know.
And we actually have a company that's looking at it. They've been looking at it for a year. And it's a meat processing place. And they don't have around 400 jobs. They've been working for about a year trying to get all the facets in. It's going to be a great company, and they're going to pay a great wage, you know, if they get all the facets in place. The problem is, where are we going to get 400 workers? And let's just imagine, okay, they're coming August the 1st. We don't have 400 people that don't have a job, and so it would still workers, you know, from other places. So naturally, the cost of living around Swainsboro is going to be bad, which is a good thing. But then those places lost employees. We don't have any apartments. We don't have any houses for people to move here to take this advantage. So I wish it would be competition for me. I wish somebody would build more houses for people to buy.
Right.
So we're not going to ever get, like the first wave I built out in subdivision. We moved in about 8 new families from all over the United States. Well, what if there was 3 means built in subdivisions? And then we moved in 24 families instead of 8 families.
Right.
You know, in 3 or 4 years' time, we would have 1,500 more people here. Well, 1,500 more people moves here, that's 15 more people to eat. They'll shop in it, whatever. They may need more. That would need more retail stores because we have 1,500 more people.
Right.
But we have to fix the foundation first, and I wish somebody would help me the foundation part. Nobody's willing to take a risk. So this is extremely risky to go build a home with no buyer.
Right.
That's scary.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you have to be willing to take that risk. I'm going to spend $200,000 hoping to get $210,000. And that's not a risk that most people want to take.
Well, we appreciate everything you're doing, and I know it takes a lot of work. I don't know how you do it all in the amount of time in the day.
But somebody asked me, like, I keep moving about my dad. He worries about me all the time. Why are you doing this restaurant? You retail place and a whole new set of it. Well, then, if I get up at 7:30 and I go to bed every night at 11, it's not going to change. I'll just stop at 2 or 3 more places in that day. It's not going to change.
And then you have the businesses like CPR or like, you know, other places that are established at this point, so they don't require maybe as much of your time.
I got some absolute outstanding managers. If I don't have great managers, I couldn't do anything. Every one of my places has great managers.
It's like you have 10 kids, you know. You're like checking on all your children around town.
And some of the places, I don't have to do anything because the staff there, they take care of everything. Like Summerville and the car wash and all that, I don't have to work. The city, I don't have to worry about it because they got great staff.
Who's your accountant?
That would be me. But I have an accountant that does my taxes. But I don't have a trust issue with things like that. I just know if I do it, I'm the person who do the blame.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Well,
And my wife, she helps me do it.
okay.
She helps me. She's my little mini-me.
Well, thank y'all for supporting all the fixins. We appreciate it. I know y'all like the piglets and the rats.
Piglets are my favorite. My problem is, I know you have a hard situation. Like, how many do I cook?
Yeah.
Do I cook 20 or do I cook 7? And if you cook 20, you cook some 7.
Yep.
But if you cook 7, you're so
I have 50 that, yep.
I know things like, and the worst thing to do with food is throw it away.
I know.
You don't want to end up in the trash can.
Yeah, we try to look at our numbers, based on past sales and try to cook that many each day. But then sometimes there's anomalies, and like you might have could have sold more, you ran out. So I try to, but it is hard.
Yeah, I like
You're right. Good. Well, thank y'all for the support. We love Swainsboro, and we've enjoyed
What made you
here.
do this?
Do the business or the
You went to Twin City first, right? So what made you start that?
So my husband and I started the pecan business first, and I sold them online and wholesale to other retailers. And then we did like corporate gifts. And after COVID, I just knew that people needed to like connect and get back together, because people had been quarantined for so long. And so I started doing these little markets, pop-up markets, where I would have coffee and cinnamon rolls and people live music, and I loved the connection and seeing other people connect over food or over shopping or over supporting somebody that they knew was going to be there selling something. So I didn't think I ever really wanted to do retail, but I think after seeing that, I loved it. And so we opened a little store in Twin City and started real small, like opening 1 day a week. And then we opened 3 days a week. And then we said, you know what, let's just open every day. That way it doesn't confuse people when we're open. So I loved it, being able to see people enjoying the product, and how it was impacting, food is in your everyday life, whether people come and buy a casserole for somebody that, is going through something, they need some food or whatever, or just feeding somebody that's hungry after they worked, all day. So then whenever we were looking to expand our kitchen, I rented from the Sugar Bowl Bakery their oven the 2 days a week they were closed. And so I had been coming up here 1 to 2 days a week every week. So then when they were interested in selling, I was like, my husband was like, I was gung-ho on building a kitchen in Twin City, which we're still planning to do. But he was like, you need to go to that, kitchen that's already ready to go, turnkey, go in there and do your thing. And so we were like, well, if we're going to have a kitchen, we might as well have a second location and take advantage of the consumer base here. So, yep. That's a little.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you. Yes, sir. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that everybody enjoyed hearing about, what you've got going on and your future plans. We appreciate it.
I want to brag on one more.
Okay.
We did the
downtown thing.
That was absolutely marvelous. We put it together in around a month time. We had 14 food trucks. And I don't want every restaurant to get mad in town because the food trucks. What that did was bring people out.
Yeah.
And just because they bought lunch here, well, they went around and spent money everywhere else. Or in town for a little festival.
Yeah.
And we hope to do it. We don't hope, we are going to do it every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
We're going to do it on July 1st.
Okay.
And we're going to have 3 bands again.
Okay.
That's the plan. And they have food trucks but with arts and crafts, little booths set up and there.
Okay.
And so if somebody wants to do a booth, they'll just get to the city.
Okay.
And we're going to we're hoping to have like a little festival that brings the city together, and it's been absolutely marvelous.
Yeah, I love that. I saw some pictures of that, so that was a really cool thing for sure. So y'all get out and support that. Downtown Swainsboro, the first, well, I guess every 3 months. So the next one is July
1st, and the next one's October the 7th.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Perfect. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here on Fixins and Friends with Greg Bennett. We appreciate his time and all he's doing for our community. And y'all continue to support Swainsboro so that we can grow and thrive here and make it a great place to live and work.